Yo, welcome back. Episode 3 of the Weekly Element. I am excited to be here. I am Elemental Dynamics, or Mark for short. I am the cute, good-looking one that you want to bring home to mom and dad and show all your friends on. And then with me, I have my buddy.
I am Sergeant Pancakes. You definitely do not want to introduce me to your mom because your parents will get a divorce and it'll be tragic for everyone involved.
What? Anyway, I am excited to be back. This is, like I said, episode 3. So far, I feel like we're doing good. And honestly, I don't know how many people are listening right now, but when the time comes that we're going to have a lot of people listening, they're going to see those that were here first were the ones that we are happy for. You guys are the real MVPs and you will be remembered. But yeah, no, so
we'll have some exclusive merch, the Pancakes Bad Mic Club.
Yes, Pancake has got a new mic. Let us know in the comments how he sounds, but I think he sounds amazing. He sounds like he's right next to me, which is unfortunate because he's not really right next to me. He is somewhere else in the world. Sad face
Literally
emoji.
Thousands of miles away.
But yes, so we're excited.
With the power of the internet, we can still be friends.
Exactly. And they always told us growing up, don't talk to strangers on the internet. Cool. So let's get this ball rolling. A lot of cool things happening this week. I don't know if you guys are fans of card games or not, but I am. I'm a huge fan of card games, and I just saw this Star Wars.
I loved Hearthstone back in the day, but nowadays I just play Marvel Snap because that's like Hearthstone without the pay to win.
Yeah, Marvel Snap is amazing, and I mean, I guess technically you could say Marvel Snap is not pay to win, but you can pay and get bunch of stuff to like get more cards that will help you win, but it's not exactly pay to win. Just paying the money doesn't exactly guarantee you a win.
There's no direct way to buy the cards you need.
True,
or
very
even
true.
To buy anything in the meta.
Very true, very true.
I think it's a really interesting way they do it because you can buy the currency to upgrade stuff, but all that does is it just upgrades cards you already have. And then in the shop, there will be cards you don't own, but it won't be like specific ones that you are looking for necessarily. It's these random bundles. And it's more about collecting the art versus collecting like specific things.
Very true. And to be honest with you, I really love it. It was a good mobile game. And once I started playing it on my computer, it was even better. It was just good. But I love Marvel. I'm a Marvel fanboy. And you will find that out later in this episode exactly why. But yeah, Marvel Snap's good. However, the reason why I bring it up is because apparently now we're going to get a Star Wars card game as well. And one thing you will come to find on these podcasts is that Pancake and we're huge Star Wars fans. So I thought this would be pretty pertinent. I don't know if you've seen the teaser trailer for it yet, Pancake, but you are going to right now. And whether or not you want to see it, anyway, you're going to see it because, you know.
Oh, boy.
But yes.
Oh, boy. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to throw it up. And then we are going to do a kind of reaction to it. Obviously, for copyright reasons, we will not have it showing until I learn exactly how copyright law and all that stuff works when it comes to fair use and all that stuff. So we'll get to that. But for now, I don't know if you can see the screen or not. I have shared it, and you let me know if you can't hear it. But let's go ahead and check this out, and we'll talk about it as we watch. Throughout the galaxy. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty good artwork. Hey! Kathmandu. Operating outside the law. Oh, that's old girl from... Yeah, I see that. So
it's IG-11. Very nice.
Is this giving me...
This looks a lot like the cards from Star Wars Legion.
I've never played that. It doesn't really give you too much, like, exactly what it is. Is this an actual game, or is this a...
Shadows of the Gap. Can you go back to? Oh, have you seen the trailer for Tales of the Empire?
Tales of the Empire. What is that?
Oh, it's like. Did you see Tales of the Jedi?
No. Oh, yeah. Is that what this is? Different? No, screw
Yeah,
it.
it's like the second season, but they show you stuff like. If you want to watch it blind, let's you watch it blind.
All right, let's do a blind watch. All right, I guess we're doing another. We're rolling with it. Let's do it.
Why do you seek imperial favor?
This is the chick from Mandalorian season 2 and from
People
Ahsoka.
were all but destroyed.
Oh, that.
My
Oh, she had that fire sword. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It is that strength.
I gotta say, I love this animation.
The Empire.
Man, Clone Wars hits different.
Clone Wars hits different, man. May the fourth be with you.
I'm here to present you with an opportunity.
What is that
Paris.
shuttle? I don't know that
I don't
shuttle
know.
style.
Hey! Oh wait, it's Oh, I can't think of her name.
Yeah, it's Luminara's Padawan.
Yes, Lunas. There you go.
Morgan Elsbeth.
So this is a prequel, basically, again.
I will fulfill
Yeah,
my
kind of.
destiny.
I really like what they're going for with this, showing Barriss becoming an Inquisitor,
Gotcha.
because that's something that's really interesting to me, and I don't think we've seen that like at all in the Star Wars universe so far.
All right.
Oh, I wonder if he makes her fight with Luminara's lightsaber.
Oh, okay.
At a cost.
You know what? I'm gonna have to do a complete and total rewatch of
My war.
all the Star Wars stuff.
Since I was a child.
It's been a while. I have to watch in chronological order.
Begun.
Oh man.
So it's just before she becomes a bad guy?
This is how.
I wonder why they picked her though to like focus on.
Your new master.
I think because she was like locked up in space jail after committing Space 9/11.
Oh wait.
Long live the Empire.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, that's right. Cause she was in. Okay, I remember now. Cause she. Okay. I was like, why is Darth Vader there? That doesn't make sense. So this is not. This is. Oh, that's gonna be dope. Yeah, that's gonna be
dude,
dope.
I'm so hyped for it.
That's gonna be the. What is that? Lord Vader? That's probably like some kind of. That's some kind
it's
of
not
fan
real.
made thing. But okay. All right. I'm okay. I'm fucking with it. That's. I mean, I'm messing with it. Sorry. Excuse me. I got excited. I shouldn't have said that. Okay. Well,
I do too, bro. That looks so good.
all right. So I'm excited for that. You know, I gotta say, this Star Wars animated stuff has been far superior from the live action stuff. Just gonna say it. It's probably a controversial thing to say.
Die on the
but-
hill that animation is superior to live action.
In this context, in this
In
situation.
every context. I will die on this hill. Animation is never inferior to live action because you can do so much more in animation than you can ever do in live action. Like just the scale and the creativity that you can use, well, at least at this point with the technology we have, like there's just no way you can match animation in terms of the absolute balls to the walls craziness that you can do. Like live action is
Right.
just never gonna live up to that.
Well, what? I mean, I understand it. I know what you're saying. However, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Live action it's something cool. It's real. It's there. It's like it may not be able to do all the crazy, extravagant things that animations can do, but you can get some pretty good stuff out of live action. I wouldn't say animation is better. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess if you compare those two, I can see why. Yeah, but you also got I don't know. You actually stumped me on that one. I have to actually think about that. You know what? No, it is. I mean, I guess I can see it to be overall better in general. I think we just found our next topic.
So let me put it to you this way, right? So in The Boys, the violence definitely looks more gross, and there's definitely like an element to it that makes it feels like a punch to the gut when you see some guy's dick explode, right?
Right.
But in Invincible, the scale of stuff they can do, like with the Martian invasion and like going to all these different planets and like having Omni-Man in front of a black hole, like you can do that in live action, but the amount of cost you'd have to do that versus what you can get out of it.
But again, that goes to the like
it's definitely a case of preference, for sure.
It's not even a case of preference. It's a case of like what you're trying to tell. So like obviously, yeah, things like that you can make these most but in live action you have. But like for example, look at this. I'm gonna show you right here. This is a good example.
I mean, this is animation,
but it's live. Okay, see, you're talking about. Like this is okay. So what we're watching right now, we're watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's an exclusive IMAX trailer. This right here, if this was all completely animated, drawn like cartoon, it wouldn't be as cool. I 100% believe it wouldn't be as cool. Is
I
that
guess you
Siri?
could say that, or you could make. No,
That is Siri.
yeah, it's Siri from The Witcher. Her name is Freya Allen.
Freya Allen. Okay.
I don't know how you pronounce that surname.
Okay, Freya Allen. What is this? An actual? Oh, is this a trailer or a clip?
Yeah, this is a full-on island. This is a full-on trailer.
Okay. Okay, Planet of the Apes is definitely going to be something that I'm watching for sure. You know what?
But it's also like you have to match the material you're doing with the medium you choose, right? Like this wouldn't work as an animation because that wouldn't convey the right like emotion you want to have.
Right.
But if you're doing something like a Spider-Man, I think like the animated Spider-Man stuff has always been absolutely incredible.
Well, yeah,
where a lot of the live action stuff is a mixed bag.
Well,
like I don't think there's any bad live action Spider-Man stuff. Don't get me wrong. But like getting a full series where you have Rhino and Electro and the Lizard and all that.
Bro, look at that gorilla.
One movie where they try to put Electro, Robo Rhino, and Green Goblin in 2 hours.
Yeah.
You kind of need to pick your poison, you know?
When humans and apes lived side
Dude, this
by
looks
side.
crazy. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm watching this right now, and I'm like,
Exist.
holy crap, the Uncanny Valley right now is so good. Bro, it looks so real.
Incredible.
It's unnecessary how real this looks. It's like
The law is wrong.
wow.
Like you're literally looking at the monkey and you're looking at Freya and you're like, which one is CGI? Are they both?
Humans. Over apes.
It's so cool looking.
Together.
Wow.
Oh man. That shot like 30 seconds ago looked like The Last of Us Part 2 when that was revealed.
I will bring them.
That looks so crazy.
Dude, Andy Serkis is one of the most underappreciated actors of all time.
100%. 100%.
Save them together.
Hey, they really pulled out all the stops on this, did they?
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Enter
You
the
think if a
kingdom
monkey
in IMAX.
raps,
Only
it could be
theaters
called
May 10th.
monkey bars?
Tickets on sale now.
Wow. All right, cool. Well, that actually might actually be a good, that actually works out. We'll talk about that because that's a good franchise topic right there too. Because that would be a good example of a franchise that kind of made a good
Came
choice.
out of nowhere.
They made a
It's
good choice. Yeah. Well, you know what? There was one you were telling me about. What is this? KAOS, I think you said it was. Let's see what that's all about. And then I think we'll be done with the like news of the week kind of stuff. So let's see. Let's see what KAOS is. I know nothing about this. It's got Jeff Goldblum in
Neither
it.
do I.
This bitter
Look at that old ass Rolex.
that high
Ending of the.
holy day.
I love the little sequined lightning bolts on his shoulders.
Producers of Chernobyl. Whoop.
Honor me. That's a command, not a request.
Ooh. Yes, Daddy.
bitter earth.
It's
So
coming to
this is
Netflix.
giving like, what if the Greek gods were real? That's what this is giving to me, and I'm really here for it.
I mean,
I love
let's
Greek
see.
mythology. I love Jeff Goldblum. I'm here for it.
Jeff Goldblum as Zeus makes sense. Yeah, that looks good. I'm gonna actually keep an eye on that. We'll keep track of that, and we'll kind of yeah. I'm excited about that. All right, let's
It's like
see.
it just caught my attention. It wasn't like something that I was looking out for. It really caught me by surprise, and I was like, "Oh, this is on my radar now."
Exactly. That's how it usually happens. But it's a Netflix thing too. Like honestly, I've been just Netflix is not worth the money in my opinion. It hasn't really been.
Not anymore. No.
Like they haven't
I mean,
yet.
South African Netflix suddenly got really good. Like our Netflix was garbage for a good long while, and suddenly, like last night when I was watching Netflix with my girlfriend, it was just like Netflix is suddenly incredible with the variety of stuff they have. I was really shocked.
To be fair, I haven't subscribed or been subscribed to Netflix for like the last 5-6 months, just because. Well, however long it's been since they hiked the price up to an unnecessarily ungodly amount, I've just been like, yeah, no, screw them. I'll find another way to watch your shows. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So
But
anyway,
it's more
yeah,
permanent that you can own.
exactly. So honestly, though, that was pretty good. We ended up watching a few things that I didn't realize were out, but I'll definitely link everything in the description of this video or on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, so you guys can see the trailers that we were reacting to. All right.
So specifically, I think what happened is we don't get HBO in South Africa. There's one way you can get it, which is through a cable provider, where you can get an HBO subscription with cable. But now I think Netflix has gotten the HBO and Warner Brothers catalog, because they've got stuff like the Justice League cartoons, they've got Batman the Animated Series, they've got Avatar. So there's like a whole bunch of stuff suddenly that wasn't there before, and I don't know what happened, but I'm just hoping it stays that way.
That just has a lot to do with the different countries doing, different things. That's why like they had those VPN things you can get, that you can find where like it changes your IP to be in a different country so that you can have access to different things. Because every country has different.
Yeah, so audience, if you want good Netflix, use your VPN. Get South African Netflix. Speaking of VPN, this
So did you
episode
just-
is sponsored by.
No. I was about to say like, bro, you about to get us
That would have
like.
been an incredible segue.
Why? That would have been a horrible segue. You trying to get us banned already? Jeez, we're only on episode 3.
I like to live dangerously.
I mean, I guess I do too. But anyway, so yeah, other than that, I think we got some good. So do you have an unknown element for me?
Oh, I absolutely do have an unknown element for you. Mark, you are a
Hold on,
Marvel fan, yes?
Yes, I am. Very much so.
You know how the Infinity Stones in the MCU are acquired, right?
Correct.
Specifically the Soul Stone, right?
Yes.
So, in the context of a soul for a soul, if you could Thanos snap any franchise out of existence in our world and replace it with a different franchise of the same quality, what would you choose? Like, you can snap Star Wars. Star Wars was never a thing, but in its place, instead of all the Clone Wars and stuff we get from Star Wars, we get a RoboCop expanded universe. Instead of the trash DCEU, you get a trash adaptation of Savage Dragon or Spawn. Zack Snyder's take on Spawn. So,
Okay, so all right. I think I understand the question. But the whatever franchise I get rid of, the one I replace it with will be as good as the franchise
and
I'm getting
as
rid
successful.
of, and as successful. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. I'm trying to think back because I wasn't expecting that deep of a question. Because obviously, the logical choice would be the Marvel stuff because Marvel has been super successful. So anything
But then
in
you
it,
think about it, the MCU is kind of like weak at the moment. It's not bad
at the
I don't think
moment,
it's
but that's
bad.
not what you asked though. You said successful.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's weak at the moment, but there's no denying that the Marvel franchise and the Marvel MCU was a massive
Not at
success.
all.
I mean, the MCU own chain. Like, MCU did it, so everybody tried to do it. Shared universes, all this stuff. The MCU created a new genre in Hollywood in movies and things. So, but to that question, I would like to see a franchise successful of, if we're talking comic book stuff, where, oh man, do DC with MCU. So take the MCU franchise and make a DC franchise. It's like, actually give us a legitimately good franchise with the DC comics. That would be what I would switch it out with. If I had a snap to redo it, that's what I would do.
Absolutely incredible.
Because think about it.
I was
feel
thinking like
what were you thinking?
I was thinking replacing like Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy with something like a Brit or something like that from the Image Comics universe, or replacing maybe The Boys with a R-rated Deadpool series.
Oh, okay. Then I was misunderstanding your question, because the way you questioned it is not the way you just answered it. Yes, right? I would like to see things like that as well. And I totally would like to see this is like Image Comics would be, or is it Dark Horse Comics? Which one is Witchblade?
Oh, both.
Witchblade is Dark Horse, right?
Oh, which one is Witchblade? I think Witchblade is Dark Horse, yeah.
But I think Dark Horse might be an Image subsidiary or something like that. I could be wrong. But I know I used to, it was Witchblade, and then there was another one, she like controlled water and stuff. Fathom or something like that, I think it was. But yeah, like that's Dark Horse here. I would like
never heard of Witchblade.
I would like Dark Horse comic books to be, but let's see. Witchblade Comics was it was not. Oh, Top Cow. I remember that magazine. Image Comics. So Image Comics is what I was talking about. So an Image, because that's what Invincible is. So Image Comics is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But a whole Image Comics series like how the Marvel MCU is, that would be dope.
Dude, that would be incredible.
That would be
How
dope.
would you start it though? What would be the Iron Man? It would probably be Spawn, right? You'd have to start with Spawn.
I wouldn't say Spawn would be a good one. You'd have to do it like, well, see, I mean, I was going to say you have to do something that no one knows, but Image Comics in and of itself is a kind of an unknown
underdog, yeah.
I feel like you would have to start it with something like a Witchblade, where it's not like a huge, Spawn is like, oh, well, maybe Spawn. Oh, man, this is crazy. This has actually just opened up a rabbit hole of like, no, I really don't know what would be a good start. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually okay. Image Comics. That's
okay. Hold on. What about this? Right?
We're gonna
imagine you do Guardians of the Globe as their equivalent to the Avengers. So you do Immortal. You do Darkwing.
There you go.
You do War Woman.
That would work.
To the first Avengers.
That would work.
Post-credit scene is Omni-Man killing their asses.
Yeah. That would be a good start. Just throwing something out there, because you got Spawn, you got Witchblade, you got Savage Dragon. Can't forget about him.
I love Savage Dragon. Such a goofy character. Incredible. I
mean, I guess technically too, The Walking Dead is an Image comic series, so that could tie in there pretty easily, like an alternate universe thing.
The Walking Dead would be the equivalent of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a series that's connected but not connected,
exactly.
But connected definitely.
It's like no one talks about it. No one talks about it. It's the redheaded stepchild, and or Darkness. That could be a good one.
Oh man, I kind of want to live in that universe now.
Yeah, you know what?
We got an MCU with Image Comics, dude.
That would be dope. It's like the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm like, yep, nope, this is a That's what I want. I want an Image Comics universe, because the Image Comics universe would be freaking great. And Spawn would definitely be but I don't know. I've always read Image Comics as like the individual stories of that. I've never actually read Image Comics and had where the characters like Marvel where they connect with each other. Isn't it? They've always been contained storylines. You know what I mean?
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but I got into Image Comics through Invincible, which I don't know if I've mentioned this less than 50 times on this podcast before. Invincible is my favorite comic series of all time. Right?
Okay, I can see that.
I saw Savage Dragon through Invincible. That's what got me into the Savage Dragon comics, because when Invincible was over, I was like, I need more of this universe. So then I started reading Guarding the Globe, and I started reading Invincible Universe, and then branched out into the Spawn comics and like Savage Dragon, some of the stuff with Brit. So that was my reading order, because I was never into Spawn. My introduction to Spawn was basically Mortal Kombat. Like, I saw Spawn and I was like, oh, this guy looks really, really interesting. He's like a Venom Batman. What's that about? And then went down the rabbit hole.
Yup. Oh, you know what? Another one? The thing that got... Because I remember there was a video game for it, too. I want to say it was... Was it Danger Girls? No. Was it Danger Girl? Were they Image Comics? No, they weren't Image. They were something else. They were Image. Danger Girl, yeah. Image was it, because it was like Danger Girl, and then like there was another one called... Oh, it was like a teen group. Something 13. Gen 13. That was another one that I remember seeing and growing up with when I was looking at stuff.
Witchblade is Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh man, have you read Firepower?
No, I don't even know what it is.
I was talking about it, I think, in the last episode, but I called it Fire Fist instead of Firepower, and I felt stupid about it ever since.
Gotcha. Bro,
it's kind of like Iron Fist from Marvel, but it like that kind of idea where there's this secret society of monks with this ancient power that someone can get that lets them punch real good.
Yep, I see that. You know what? Now that I'm looking at, like, as we were talking, I went and I started like just researching Image Comics and looking at like just characters and all that stuff. Like, that would be a good franchise if people are wanting to be like, hey, we need more women characters and more women-driven things. That would be a good source to get it from. Because I'm looking, I'm like, basically, there's a larger portion of like female characters in the Image universe than in all the other ones. Yeah. So,
yeah,
but no,
has always been great about like equality.
Yeah. Gen 13 is definitely another one. Yeah, you know what? I'm putting it out there in the universe right now. An Image Comics shared universe franchise live action movies would be great. TV shows, movies, someone needs to do that. Someone is miraculously hearing this that has the kind of power to make that happen. Please make it happen, because that is a good...
it would be incredible.
Yes. So, yeah, no, that's definitely I don't know if that answered your question or not, but I think that was a good answer to the question.
I think that's an excellent answer. And I also think we can probably make a whole episode out of this.
Yes.
Just like from talking, you know?
Yeah, basically, because realistically, I am going, this is making me want to like dive back into all the, because all we ever people talk about now is Marvel and DC. Like, that's the topic at hand. I mean, and it is. It makes sense. I mean, that's legitimately what the world knows right now. But as a comic book
you
fan
don't see
and
the
avid
stars
nerd,
when
like,
looking at the sky when the sun takes up so much space.
Exactly. So we need to start looking at the stars again. You know, Tomb Raider's even an Image comic.
Tomb Raider is an Image comic?
I think it. I mean, I don't think it started off as that, but I'm pretty sure it became, and that was one of the things. Yeah, so that's definitely we're gonna do an episode where we're gonna like dive into all the unknown and all the not the
Underdogs.
the underdog comic series stuff, and we're gonna dive into that.
We can
But
talk about Dark Horse and IDW and Image Comics and oh man, have you read Radiant Black?
never even heard of it.
Man, it's like what if Power Rangers was serious?
Yeah, I can see that being a thing.
It's so good.
We're
But
gonna
anyway,
get into that.
we should probably get to our review of the week.
Yeah, we should probably get to our view. View of the week. I like that. That's what we're gonna call it. Our view of the week. Instead of a review of the week, we'll do it our weekly view. Or the view of the week. I don't know. So anyway, we're gonna talk about Godzilla Kong with a New Kingdom or whatever it was. I watched it yesterday.
I think it's a New Empire?
New Empire, yeah. It was just gonna start off right now and just start off by saying that it was a great movie. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was entertaining. It was exciting. It was just the right amount of. It was great. I enjoyed it the entire way.
So I have as always a page of notes here about my experiences with the movie.
Okay.
And I underlined and made a little star next to one of my notes, which is just, what the F is going on in this movie?
What? Okay, I'm curious. Continue.
This movie, so it was an absolute ride, but it felt like a kid smashing their action figures together. Like, this movie just went. It just full send did stuff. There was so little, like, I don't want to say there was so little logic tying it together, but it just felt so frantic.
Okay.
It felt like watching the Olympics, except everyone has a different number of limbs.
What does that even mean?
It was just like absolute chaos, and I just the lanky monkey, the lanky ginger. By the way, they covered all the biggest minorities in this movie. They had a King Kong that was a ginger and a King Kong that was bald, so they really got covered. Like,
that's funny.
you just know if they tried to adapt that ginger monkey into like a CW series, they would replace it.
Yep, that makes sense. But
I love
I'm
how this
interested in your
movie
take so
starts,
far, though.
right?
Your take so far on it is very interesting. I was not expecting that, but okay.
This movie starts with Kong getting jumped right off the bat.
We should probably say spoiler alert.
I mean,
I'm gonna just put it this way.
probably.
Honestly, to be honest with you, this podcast is just assume there's gonna be spoilers in this podcast because there's no the way we're formatting this and the way we're doing it. Like, there's just no way we're gonna be able to like really truly try to do not spoiler things. I mean, we might be able to like be like, well, I take that back. Forget I said that.
Yeah, let's.
Outside of what we just talked about, because we just gave some spoilers away a little bit. However, without giving away any spoilers yet, thoughts on the movie. Overall, thoughts on the movie. What do you think?
Devastated to find out there's a bald monkey in this movie. I spoiled the universe for them.
Nah. But yeah, what do you think?
Spoiler 3 thoughts in the movie. I don't want to give this one a number rating because it feels like numbers are too quantifiable for the absolute chaos that this movie was. So my review in one sentence is, this movie was a fever dream that I want to have again.
All right, I can feel that. Well, my non-spoiler review is that it was entertaining as hell. I will say that. I was locked in from the minute it started to the minute it ended. I didn't feel like I was sitting there forever watching a movie, but I also didn't feel like it was just a come and go movie. It was like perfect amount of action, perfect amount of story, perfect amount of just character development amongst everything. But what I liked is that they just got right into it. I like the fact that the movie, it was a perfect example of the title of the movie is what you get. Like, you're going
as
into
long as you
a movie.
take Godzilla out of that title.
Because
my son Godzilla was in this movie for about as much as like Spider-Man was in Endgame.
What?
Godzilla in this movie is kind of like Pennywise in It. He just like pops up every now and again, scares the shit out of some characters, and then leaves.
Well, I disagree, but I get where you're coming from. However, overall, I liked it. Movie was great. I definitely recommend going to see it or watching it or whatever, however you consume media. It's definitely worth the watch, if just for once. You know what I mean? It was a good time at the movie. Absolutely. It was entertaining. So that's my spoiler-free review of it.
It was definitely entertaining, but do not watch this movie while on any kind of substance that would cause you to perceive reality in a different way, because I can imagine like this movie would be such a trip. It was just double down.
Or do, depending on your thing. Whatever you want to, whatever you want to do. Hey, we are not the controllers of your life. You do what you want to do and be safe doing it. That's all I got to say. But I know last week I was trying to figure out the whole marking and all that stuff, but things got busy this week, so I wasn't able to do so. However, this week I am going to make it a priority to put markings in the episode for like if you're to know when to skip and all that stuff. Timestamps. But yeah, timestamps. I couldn't think of what it was. But yes, no. So that being said, overall, I liked it. Good movie. Definitely go. Movie. And then we will do a rating at the end of our review. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and start, and you can go ahead and give us your in-depth review of what you thought of the movie.
So I think the movie really starts off quick, right? Within like, I think the title pops up, and then there's some green glowy rocks, and then my boy Kong is getting jumped immediately off the bat. And I wrote down here in my notes, can't have shit in Monkey Detroit. Because Kong is just settling down, right? And then there's just this horde of T-Rex dogs chasing him down, trying to eat him. And then there's this crocodile thing that steals his dinner. My boy does not catch a break throughout this entire film. Also, there was a really funny moment where Kong was like... So the theme of this movie with Kong is he's looking for his people, right? He's out there on Instagram seeing all these different people, and he's like, where are my monkey friends at? Yeah. And then there's this moment where he's sitting out, looking out over his kingdom like he's reenacting The Lion King, and then he hears another monkey call him, right? And my brother Kong got catfished by a frog. He arrives at this waterfall and sees this frog, like, doing a mating call for him. It was just... Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That like sums up this movie in my head. It's just like, what is going on? Why?
Yeah, that was just the first 5 minutes.
That was just the first 5 minutes. And then my next note is, how does Godzilla get CNN on the ocean floor?
What?
Because like he's napping, right? He's on the ocean floor. He's chilling, and then some other kaiju's rocking up, tearing apart Rome worse than Caesar, and then Godzilla like awakens immediately just as CNN is broadcasting the news and goes to just like do his job, goes to beat that lizard up.
Well, I mean, there's
it
actually...
wasn't a lizard, it was like a big old bug thing.
But there's an actual in-universe reason for that.
Like, I know. I just thought it was really funny that Godzilla has synced up his kaiju sense with CNN broadcasts.
I feel like you're getting pretty a little, like hung up on some little bitty narrative details that aren't actually relevant to the thing. I know what you mean, but yeah, no, I was like, yeah, he's got it in. I mean, they say Godzilla, he's an apex predator. Like they've definitely have made that mention in multiple movies. Yeah. That, like if a kaiju comes
like
up,
how he keeps sensing keeps sensing Kong whenever Kong shows up. Like whenever homie's like collecting his DoorDash at the big ocean portal, Godzilla knows immediately. And what I found really funny is the moment Kong goes to Egypt and Godzilla, it's just on sight. Kong is out there holding his hands up. He's like, hey, brother, good to see you. We beat the shit out of Mechagodzilla last I saw. And Godzilla is like, the only thing you're going to catch is these hands. It just...
Well, yeah, because that's legitimately got, like, That's
Yeah, they have
Godzilla's
that
MO.
territory thing and
That's
everything.
Godzilla's MO.
But
The only reason why that they even fought together to fight Mechagodzilla was because it was a mutual, like, friend of my friend, my enemy and my friend, or you know what the heck they're saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. It was like they were both getting their asses handed to them, so they were like, you know what? And then at the end, Godzilla gave Kong the homie drop and said, all right, fine, I'll let you slide this time.
I think the thing is, right, Godzilla in this movie, he learns the Kaioken technique. He goes pink and gets more powerful, right?
The Kaioken technique.
And I bet you, I have no proof of this, but my gut tells me the only reason they gave my boy a makeover with some shiny new neon pink powers is because they had a different Godzilla in this movie with blue powers. So Godzilla couldn't have his classic blue flame because they wanted the other guy to have that.
I'm pretty sure, well, the other guy didn't have blue flames.
He had ice, yeah, but still had the blue energy.
But he was also white. And his energy
That
was...
is true, and
it was
that's
just
why
like,
he's probably the villain in this movie.
Well, yeah. I have a theory on why they did it, but continue. So far, your review is a roller coaster. Your review is as wild as the movie was, apparently.
You know what's really interesting? So my experience with these movies is Godzilla 2014, right? And then I did not watch Godzilla King of the Monsters. I watched Godzilla vs. Kong, and then I watched this one, right?
So you didn't watch...
And Kong Skull Island.
Well, I mean, no wonder why you're having is it like King of the Monsters explains a lot of what it is you're talking about right now.
But like what I noticed
In
is so
depth.
far,
In fact,
in every single movie I've seen, they discover a new hidden world. Like in the last movie, they discover like the Hollow Earth, right? Which is the hidden world. And then in this movie, they discover a Hollow Earth inside Hollow Earth. They find a more hidden world inside the hidden world they found last week.
Again, King of the Monsters explains all of this stuff. That's so crazy to me that you've watched every single movie in the franchise except the one that like explains everything that you're talking about right now.
It's like I watched all of Star Wars except for Episode 5.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious, bro. That is hilarious. I did not know that she didn't watch it. I mean, like, okay. I mean, I guess. So Mothra must have been a surprise for you then.
I was like, what is going on? Also, is the telepathic human subplot, like, does that tie into previous lore? Because that caught me by... That was wild.
I think that was... I was thinking about the same thing when I was watching. I was like, wait. I mean, I know there's people that come from Skull Island and all that stuff there's a tribe. I know all that was true. But this whole part, like, it was like I said, this is one of those examples that we'll get into this when we do with the other stuff. But this is one of those examples where they just leaned into the crazy and said, "Nah, why not? Let's just do it."
I was like, when did I stop watching Godzilla X Kong and start watching Atlantis? It was like.
To be fair, we got barely any human like we had just enough human element to like. Literally, the humans were there to just progress the story along. There was no like, which is something I loved about it. Literally, that human tribe thing was literally just so that we can get Mothra. It was just a reason for getting Mothra. That's all that was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And it's like, so I wrote down this note: the humans in this movie are the same as in Transformers. Because like the only purpose the humans solve is to give exposition and then get the MacGuffin.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then like, man, this movie was so metal. There's this part where they're like walking into the Fire Nation, and like Kong is walking over this like skull and vertebrae bridge, and I was like, good. Like, what is this movie? This is insanity. And I was like, is that a giant Godzilla? Because they mentioned like the Kongs fight the Godzillas when the telepath people are talking about their cave paintings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, is that supposed to be like an ancient giant Godzilla? How did it die? Why would they make a bridge out of it?
Well, I'm assuming that they made a bridge on it. Just the way it was laying in the movie, it looks like the thing died in that spot and then just became a bridge.
And what was really funny is they do a shot from the side of Godzilla and Ginger Monkey walking over that bridge. And I was like immediately taken out of the movie, and I was like, oh, so we're watching Shrek. Because it's exactly that shot from Shrek when they're rescuing Fiona in the first movie.
You're being really analytical about this movie. That's for sure. It's crazy. I was not expecting this.
I think this movie has like the dumbest prophecy and like weirdly specific prophecy I have ever seen.
I mean, again, that was literally just to put the story for that. This is a crazy review. Okay, I am gonna hold you, but I'm enjoying it.
This movie feels like as they were acting the movie out, they were kind of making it up, and the director was just in the back going, "That's good, keep it going, keep it going." It was like every element that's introduced with the human characters feels like it's completely out of nowhere. And I know I'm gonna have to watch Godzilla King of the Monsters after this to see if the lore just like retroactively makes this movie make sense to me.
I mean,
I was
if
just
this
like,
is
okay,
how you're feeling about this movie, you're definitely not gonna like King of the Monsters. Because basically,
I liked this movie.
Oh, okay.
I really liked this movie, but
I'm so confused.
Bananas. It was so crazy.
I'm so confused on your review right now. You say you like it, but so far all I've heard was everything you don't like. Like, what is happening right now?
This is just my experience of the movie, but I did really like it.
Okay. What'd you think of the ultimate like clash?
I thought that was man. When that lanky monkey pulls up on Kong and he's like wearing the vertebrae thing, at first I thought the whip he had was like the fish thing that Kong beat up earlier in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got like this little crystal thing, and I was like, that reminds me of a Godzilla scale, and they mentioned that like the Kongs fight the Godzillas, so I thought that was what that was, and it turns out it was kind of true. It was more like the Winter Soldier's diary in Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the moment when the monkey starts losing, he's like, I time to lock in, and then he just opens the curtain, and the movie suddenly turns into Yu-Gi-Oh! And we've got Blue Eyes White Dragon pulling up to give my man Kong the works.
Hey, yo, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
And then, man, Godzilla in this movie was just in a training montage. Whenever we see him, he's doing push-ups, he's doing sit-up, he's making protein shake from nuclear reactors, he's getting ready, he's getting ripped. And I love how Godzilla fights two kaijus in this movie that are just absolute fodder. It just shows a kaiju wrecking shit, and it shows Godzilla pull up, and the kaiju evaporates immediately from sheer force of Godzilla. It is incredible. I love this one shot in the movie. This really hit, right? He was fighting, I think they called the monster Tiamat in the movie.
Yeah, that was the
like
one where he got
where
he got the pink power from, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like he's fighting this dragon thing, and then the camera pulls away. And I was like, what? And then body parts of this kaiju are just floating to the surface of the water.
Yeah, you saw why too. I mean, the pull away,
incredible.
The pull away wasn't just a pull away as like a thing. No, like we pull back and we see his beam wrecking, just cutting through the earth and the water and everything. It's like,
yeah. But what I mean is like the way they did that was really cool, and I loved the artistry in it, where they just show the surface of the water and there's just like kaiju parts.
Yeah, it is popping. That's crazy. It reminded me, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you, that part, and then the part where Kong, after he was whatever they called the kid, Gorilla Koju or Kovu or whatever the hell his name was, when it was after he tried to kill him with that Leviathan thing, and then he like cut him up into pieces, and then he was like eating them. It made me think of Valheim. Because in Valheim, they got that serpent thing you gotta kill, and then like you pull it up and you chop it up, and it has that's what it made me think of. It's just the body parts all over the place that you just pick up.
Also, I could have you seen the movie Cocaine Bear?
I have not. I heard about it. People told me I should see it. It's a wild ride, I heard.
So when Kong anal fists Bumblebee and gets the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
What?
There's this scene, yeah, when the vet pulls up with the Infinity Gauntlet and gives it to Kong to wear, and it like there's this moment where it like pops up and shows this green, the venom basically from Bane pushing into Kong, and his pupils dilate. I was like, did they just give Kong drugs? Did they give my man cocaine so he can rock up and fight the other
They
monkey?
gave that man some adrenaline there. I don't know what they did. Whatever it was a cure. Frostbite went away.
Yeah, it worked. Also, the final battle of this movie is wild. It's got this. Have you seen that meme about the Justice League movie where it's like the Justice League at 100% power and it's the whole league, and then the Justice League at 99% power and it's just Superman?
Yeah.
So this movie had that exact same thing, but replaced Superman with Mothra, because they pull up with this giant monkey army, right? And Kong and Godzilla are basically fighting their evil doppelgangers, and Mothra is doing the rest. Like, there was like
Well, not
1,000
really.
evil monkeys there.
Mothra wasn't really doing nothing but support. That's all she was really doing. Like, if you really think about it, she was just trying to make sure nobody was getting, like, she was webbing people up. She was supporting Godzilla and Kong. Then she was saving the humans. Like, she was really, I mean, she wasn't going to really do much. Just Mothra. I mean, Mothra's not a fighter. She was the healer.
If I don't see Mothra in the next Spider-Verse movie, I will be upset.
What? That makes no sense, the words that you just said.
Mothra was webbing monkeys up to stuff and like shooting out webs. I was like, where is
Well, it wasn't
my
webs, it was
girl's
silk.
Spider-Man suit?
It was silk,
I know,
bro.
but like, you know, it had that visual. It had that
I feel
visual.
that. I mean, it was real. Mothra was just like spitting stuff on them and they're just stuck to the rocks, so just floating through the air now.
But yeah, if anything, this movie made me want to watch Godzilla King of the Monsters more.
Yeah, there's another. He powers up in that movie too. He has a power surge.
Oh, so this was his Super Saiyan 2 moment?
Yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah, 100%. Basically, that's what it is. It's just Super Saiyan, his next version of that. I mean, because, like, honestly, it's like everything you're saying about the movie is the exact thing that I liked about the movie, in the sense of like,
absolutely.
when I see
this is just
it,
like my mental journey.
like
This movie is what
legitimately, I was
counting.
watching it and thinking, this is awesome. And like the fact that every time we kept going back, and I feel like here's a reason why I think it was more of a Kong base. Like Godzilla was definitely in it and definitely there, but Godzilla is also, as you said, like you said earlier, he's the mulligan. Like Godzilla is Godzilla. Like, when Godzilla gets involved, things get wrecked. Like, if Godzilla was just...
Kind of like Captain Marvel in Avengers Endgame.
Right.
Shows up at the end and fixes the problem.
It's like Godzilla is Godzilla. Like, he may need some help and some, whatever, but, like, yeah, it's just, it's Godzilla. I mean, if Godzilla was there the whole time, we wouldn't have got the adventure we got. You know what I mean? It's like we had to see Godzilla doing what Godzilla did, and because every time Godzilla was on screen, he was just wrecking. He was just like on sight.
The sheer destruction of like the human population that happened.
Oh, 100%. I was going to say, one of the things that I was watching and I was thinking about in this entire movie was every single time Godzilla and Kong were on the surface or they were fighting or they were doing something, every time, just walking to that, I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, that's a lot of people that are dying right now. Like, legitimately.
There's a scene in the beginning of the movie where the main character lady, I never even bothered remembering her name. She goes like, tell the president of Italy that at least would she have preferred if Godzilla did not interfere with the kaiju or something along those lines. And then I'm watching this Rome just get absolutely flattened, turned into basically like a landfill. And then at the end of the movie, massive destruction on an incredible scale. I'm like, dang, maybe the president of Italy was onto something.
No,
like,
for real though. Like every time
better.
But yeah, see, it's almost like if you think about it, like in the Pacific Rim universe, where it's like, okay, well,
yeah.
The kaijus are just wrecking
that's another
shit,
one of my
but
favorites.
yeah, another good one.
I love Pacific Rim.
Yeah, but
So good.
overall, because I want to get into just talking about like all that in general. But overall, when it comes to Godzilla Kong, a lot of the things you said, yeah, no, like say I agree with you, but it was well paced. The stuff when there was no talking when you were with Godzilla or with Kong and all that stuff, but you knew what was going on. Like the way Scar walked out of the cave and just kind of stood there and looked up. Like, I'm like, oh, look at this dude. He come out here swagging and shit. No, but it was a good one.
Man, that part where Scar, like, goes up to Godzilla and, like, basically makes fun of him for his grill, brother.
No, Kong, you mean? Yeah, he looked at his tooth.
Yeah,
He's like,
Kong. He goes,
yeah, that was crazy.
look at this man. His grill's terrible.
Look at this dude. Yeah, no, that was crazy. Like, legitimately, the little Kong, baby Kong, or whatever, or you want to call it. I'm sure he had a name. I just didn't see it, but that little one that was like trying to like trick him the whole time and then saved his life and gave him that is. All in all, it was a great movie. This was a great movie. It was I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed watching it. It made sense. I didn't overly think it of like, yeah, it was just, this is literally here just to create context. It was just here to push the story along. But literally everything involving the kaijus and everything involving stuff was great. I thought it was legit. I thought it was good time at the movie. So, I give it 10 out of 10.
Absolute roller coaster.
I give it 10 out of 10.
I really enjoyed it.
10 out of 10. It was a great movie. I will watch it again.
I gave it a batshit crazy out of 10.
But, yeah, like, on that topic, though, yeah, so franchises is really what the conversation was going to be about today and what it is about. So, on that topic, so when it comes to franchises, because that's the topic we're going to be really talking about, diving into. Like, this franchise as a whole, I thought overall so far, I think there's like 5 movies in this franchise. I thought it's been okay. Like, I remember the first Godzilla movie, they really tried their hardest to make it like a serious kind of movie. And although it was a good movie, it definitely failed to like deliver on people who wanted to see a Godzilla movie, not an art house film. And so we got Godzilla, he did his fight, but then King of Monsters kind of started the ball rolling on, okay, let's just start going, and then when Kong came out, great movie in and of itself, standalone. Like Kong, if it was a standalone movie outside the franchise, really good. You could just do that. But Godzilla versus Kong, I'm telling you what, that was they just said, you know what? Screw it. It is what it is. They Fast and the Furious did the franchise.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
They Fast and Furious the franchise and said, lean into it. And that's what they did. And that's what we got. And it was a great movie. I mean, and then I think from that movie, they learned this movie was a great movie because it took out a lot of the human element stuff. We didn't need all this backstory for the humans and the brother dying in the Earth thing and going to no, we didn't need any of that. We just got exactly what we got. And we came to see Godzilla and Kong fight a new monkey and a new Godzilla. That's what we came here for. That's what I put my money in for. That's what I wanted to see. And I got exactly that. But good example of a franchising evolving and learning with its success and its failures and listening to what the people want and just doing it. Great movies all around. I would definitely always watch all this franchise all over again. No questions asked. But
so my favorite movie in the franchise is, well, I really, really like Godzilla 2014. I thought it was just a really good movie. It gave me what I want from a Godzilla movie, if I can put it to you that way. Godzilla was just this unstoppable force of nature. And it was just incredible. Yeah. Whenever Godzilla is on screen, you're like, oh, good grief. This is
even though he was only on screen for a couple seconds throughout that movie sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, it was like, yeah, he's coming up. He's out of it. Oh, look at that. He's about to do. And then the doors close. And then we get news footage of Godzilla doing something. It's like, what? Come on. It's not what I wanted.
And then my second favorite is Godzilla versus Kong, because that was just such a fun movie. I had such a great time. I have to ask though, before the movie came out, were you team lizard or team monkey?
When it came to Godzilla versus Kong,
Yeah.
honestly, I wasn't team. I was just excited because, okay, if you're talking about just overall, like I went into it.
I'm not talking about like who would win, or because we all know Godzilla was gonna win. Like there was no
100%.
real contest there.
Yeah, there was no. I didn't. To answer your question, no, I didn't go in team anything. I just went in being like, "Yep, this is gonna be awesome." Like Godzilla versus Kong, because I'm also. You also got to understand too. This is something where it comes to this franchise. I'm also a fan of all the old stuff, the originals of black and white, like everything. Watching just throughout the history of Godzilla and Kong, like I've seen it all. So my going into Godzilla versus Kong was just as like, oh, you know what? I know how it's gonna be. It's gonna be just like it always is. But Kong's gonna get wrecked. Godzilla's gonna be the one that wins, and it's just gonna be a nice little fun time. So I never went into it expecting either one with a favorite. It was just, I'm excited to see Godzilla versus Kong, because the last time I seen Godzilla versus Kong, it was some stop motion claymation type stuff.
I haven't seen any of the old stuff.
I would recommend it. It's definitely worth it.
It's like I think I wasn't really raised with like kaiju. My first kaiju movie I ever saw was Pacific Rim. That was like my entry into the genre. And then Godzilla 2014. And then eventually I watched Godzilla 2014, then I watched Godzilla v Kong, then I watched Skull Island. That was like my viewing journey with this franchise.
You want to know mine is so I've watched all the originals and old Japanese versions and the black and white, like all the Godzillas I watched. But as a kid, the one that stood out the most to me, and the one that, like, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, this is Godzilla. This is my Godzilla. This is when I see Godzilla. It was the '99 version of Godzilla, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
Oh, the lanky Godzilla?
Yeah, the one that was like the 1999, the P. Diddy theme song one. Yeah, that was my as a kid. That was my Godzilla, and I still watch that movie to this day and be like, this is an awesome. And then it spawned an awesome cartoon for Fox Kids that was legitimate. It was one of the babies from that movie got found and it hatched, and then the Matthew Broderick character became its like daddy or something, and like it controlled him. Yeah, that's cool. But this is a good example of, would you say then, would this be a floundering franchise or a flourishing franchise to you?
Oh, flourishing, absolutely. This franchise is going places.
I feel that. I feel like, excuse me, I feel like, here's my thought on this, because I thought about moving forward, like, oh, are they going to make another one? Can they make another one? Like, what generally would be another one? And I was thinking to myself, is this one of those situations where you're like, maybe they should just quit while they're ahead and not try to keep going? Or if they do, like, if they were to continue this, what would you like to see?
So, as I just said, I'm a total newcomer to this franchise.
Okay.
I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's coming, but I just want more.
I feel
don't really care where they go next. I just want
that.
to see more of this story and this world. It's just so goofy. And if we can get a Pacific Rim crossover, I will die a happy man.
That would be dope. Because both of them are legendary, so that would be dope. I would love that to be like, there's just a portal opens up in Hollow Earth, and one of the portals they jump through brings them into the Pacific Rim universe, and like, the tear or whatever. Yeah, that would work. I can see that happening. But realistically, the chances of that happening are very unlikely. However,
aren't they both owned by Universal?
They are both earned by, I want to say Warner Brothers. Isn't Legendary a Warner Brothers thing?
Yeah. So Pacific Rim is Warner Brothers.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, but that's so ideally, if they did make another one, I ideally would like them to just to continue going with the like, because there's so many. I mean, King of the Monsters brought a lot of the monsters from the original, like Ghidorah was in it and all that stuff. Mothra's been here. We've seen them all. There are so many monsters that they could legit tap into from just the like Space Godzilla would be a good one to do. Like, I think I want to see a movie where it's not Kong and Godzilla anymore. Moving forward, I want them to do I want them to just do a legitimate just a Godzilla movie again. Like, I want to just where it focuses on Godzilla. That would be cool. That's what I think. Kong, we've beat that bush. We're good. We got the song. We got the Kong story. You know, he was by himself. He has people now. He's good. Okay, I feel like Kong's storyline is done. And I feel like now we need Godzilla storyline to start up again. Space Godzilla, all this other stuff, like everything. Son of Godzilla, whatever. Just Godzilla. Like, no more Godzilla Kong. Just do Godzilla.
You don't want to see any more Kong.
Honestly, I would like to see Godzilla versus Ultraman.
Godzilla versus Ultraman?
Yes. So which means they need to make Ultraman series and have Ultraman in the universe of Godzilla and Kong, and the storyline could work, and then like have Ultraman fighting Godzilla.
Oh,
and then
you mean the big dude?
Yeah,
the guy who inspired Way Big.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, why do you want Superman's evil doppelganger from a different multiverse?
Ultraman from the old, because I think there is old Japanese versions of Godzilla fighting Ultraman or working with. I don't know, but it's just that's what I want to see. You could literally do that. Like we have the Godzilla. The Godzilla universe, the Kong universe, so kaijus already exist, and then it would be as simple as to just make an Ultraman movie set in that universe, and you can have the origin of Ultraman happen in that universe, and then now, instead of it just being the Earth kaijus, it'd be like the alien kaijus coming, and then now it's like, then you can start making more Godzilla movies fighting the kaijus from the Ultraman series, and then Ultraman being with God, and there you go. You got your shared universe. Boom. I just did that. Pay me my money.
Okay, yeah. No, I am. I'm down for that. That sounds really cool.
Pay me my money. Like, there you go. Like, that would be so dope. That is a property that I have not yet seen a legitimate, like, live action, you know, just adaptation of the character, because that is a good one. Oh, there's another one. Remember Superhuman Samurai? That is a deep cut right there. But Matthew Lawrence. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
If you were to recommend a complete newcomer to the Ultraman franchise, where would you recommend someone start?
Oh wow, that's a crazy question. Oh man,
I love the concept of kaiju and like kaiju movies.
Oh man, there's a lot. I mean, I don't think there's any one specific space, because each version of Ultraman story is like a different version. Legit, it's just it's not like like honestly, if you really want to see a legitimate Ultraman, go watch the one on Netflix, like the Netflix Ultraman series. That's a good start. Start there and then work your way back and go from there. But
the new one,
yeah, the new animated that's on Netflix.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be where I would. You start there, and then there's an old cartoon movie that I remember watching from like the 80s or the 70s or something like that. But realistically, just look up any of the Ultraman stuff from, you know, old school. Like literally, it's just a guy, Ultraman, he gets big and he fights the big giant kaijus, and you know, it's a good story.
That's kind of just all I want.
Yeah, just like, do that. It's like literally just they deep dive into the old stuff, and there you go. I mean, you can't go wrong. And if you could find and get like obviously and make sure it's all like English subtitle stuff. Like, you want the Japanese dubs, the original dubs of it all, and watch the subtitles. It's really good.
Gotcha.
So, on the touching on, so we got a little bit of that, but touching on franchises and flourishings and things like that, I want to talk about, okay, so we have, I think, probably two of the most, like, I want to say off the wall or just contradicting, or how do I say it? We got two franchises. We got Fast and Furious, and we got Marvel. Two series that one just for a long time was really strong, and the other one just kind of is absolute balls to the wall crazy. Marvel being the one that's the success. Now, I remove just when it comes to flourishing and floundering, like, obviously Marvel is floundering right now. Let's go, goes without saying. However, that is a good example. I think what Marvel did, and what people forget, when it comes to other studios and other people trying to make franchises and trying to be shared and that, like, they need to just go back and look, hey, this is what they did. It works. It's a system that works. Let's just keep doing that. Stop trying to change it. If you're going to change it, make sure you change it to something good. So far, all these shared universes and all these franchises that have been trying to get franchises off the ground, they haven't been successful. Why? Because they just are trying too hard to be something else. Like, you got all these, they're trying to do the Marvel method. When in actuality, what the Marvel method started off was, they just did what they wanted to do, and it worked.
They made a good movie first.
They made a good movie. Well, not only that, but they made the good movie with the intention of making multiple movies that ended in Avengers. That was the plan from the get-go. But what I'm saying is, the key to that is, it's not that they, again, it's that they did what they wanted to do, and they just like, we want to do this, and they did it. A lot of these franchises, a lot of these shared universes things, what they're doing is, and they're focusing too hard on trying to be a shared universe, that they're losing track of what it is they need to do to make the movies, what Marvel did to make the movies good. That's what happened with the DCEU. The DCEU, they tried to emulate the Marvel thing, and it really screwed them over. Because they didn't have a focus, they didn't have a guide, they didn't have a unifying thing.
They didn't have the patience. They rushed Justice League without building the Justice League up first.
They didn't have a Kevin Feige, is what they didn't have. It's because everything was each movie was their own thing. Each thing was everybody was trying to do all these other stuff, and it was just because when you look at all that on the Marvel stuff, Kevin Feige had a very he knew what he wanted. This is what we're going to do. He had many years of working in the Marvel movie business because he was there for all the movies, Daredevil, Spider-Man, like Fantastic Four, all of those Marvel movies. Kevin Feige was there in the background, learning, seeing.
With a plan.
So when Iron Man came out, it was like, they made this choice, they did that. And that's where I think a lot of the franchises have died, which is also why I am very excited to see what James Gunn is going to be doing with the DC universe when it comes to movies. Like, I am 100% excited with that because I know James Gunn, they finally got a person that not only understands just nerd culture in general, comic books and all this. Like, he knows all of this. It's proven it because look at Peacemaker, look at the second Suicide Squad movie, and look at all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He knows what he's doing when it comes to this stuff. Like,
even like the stuff he references, like 100%. The comics he says that inspires the work that he's doing. Especially, I'm a massive Superman fan. I'm wearing a Superman shirt right now, like on my chest. And the stuff he's talking about and the way he's going about it gives me so much confidence and so much hope in what he's doing.
100%. I'm very much excited to see it because, again, this is another one of those situations, though, where it's like how I am with Tim Burton. I've always been a James Gunn fan. I'm a fanboy of James Gunn. I've watched Slither. I've watched all that stuff, the superhero movie. I mean, all of his stuff he's done. I have not watched something that James Gunn has produced or made that I didn't like. And the fact that Nathan Fillion is finally getting his due justice and he's going to be a Green Lantern makes me so happy. He's not going to be.
I find it really interesting that he's doing
Guy Gardner.
I find
it actually it makes sense. I can see Nathan Fillion being Guy Gardner. Obviously, I've always associated Nathan Fillion with Hal Jordan. Like he's voiced him on multiple occasions. He's also like I've always put it. But the fact that he's just gonna be a Green Lantern one way or another is happy. I feel like Guy Gardner fits Nathan Fillion's persona better.
So Guy Gardner was actually, fun fact, Guy Gardner was my first experience with Green Lantern.
Oh, really?
I didn't start with Jon Stewart. I didn't start with Hal Jordan. I started with the Batman the Brave and the Bold animated TV show where I saw Guy Gardner as Green Lantern. And that colored my perception of what Green Lantern is. And then we had the animated series with Josh Keaton as Hal Jordan. And we had the movie Green Lantern First Flight. And that put Hal Jordan in my, ingrained into my brain.
Wait, Josh Keaton?
So when I saw yeah, Josh Keaton was Hal Jordan in the animated series.
You talking about wait, what animated series?
Oh, the Green Lantern, the animated series.
Yeah. The one where it's they had the Red Lantern and the spaceship and
Yeah, Razor.
Yeah, Razor and all that. Okay, I was like, wait, what animated series are you talking about? It was the 3D one or the
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't remember there being a. You're right. Okay.
And you also had Green Lantern and stuff like Young Justice.
Right. 100%.
I also. Not even a main character. I don't even know if Green Lantern had any fights in Young Justice. But, man, that's another one of my favorite things of all time. Young Justice is oh, man. That is one of my absolute favorite series, absolute favorite pieces of media.
Young Justice is
season 1 and season 2 at any time.
I couldn't watch all of it.
And when season 2 came out and they had my boy Blue Beetle up in that shit, brother, I was so there for it. I love Blue Beetle.
Young Justice is a good series, and the fact that they canceled it was crazy to me. They really did something with that show. Watching Young Justice, especially when it went straight to HBO Max, and they were it was a more uncensored. I watched Young Justice how I watched Batman the Animated Series and Superman Adventure and all that stuff. That was the feel I got from it. They tapped into something.
Yeah.
My first, we're talking about first Green Lanterns. Mine that I can remember, before I even really did, the first Green Lantern comics I was reading was Kyle Rayner.
Oh, really?
Kyle Rayner, and then then it was then obviously I found out about Hal Jordan because then by the time, and then I knew Hal Jordan was the Green Lantern, but my introductions was Kyle Rayner, then Jon Stewart, and then realizing that Hal Jordan is the main original Green Lantern. You know what I mean? And that's why I was
Kyle Rayner is such an insane entry point to the Green Lantern mythos because he basically just got Kyle. There's no core. He's the only Green Lantern in existence. That's all you get. And then, man, just learning of the Green Lantern mythos through that lens must have been so wacky. I mean,
Not really.
I learned through a guy with a bowl cut, so what do I know?
Yeah. To be honest with you, it was not even a matter because back then, I wasn't that big of a DC fan, really. I was, Batman, Superman, flat. That's about as far as my fandom went when it came to, and the Batman the Animated Series and all that. That was about as deep as my fandom went when it came to that. Marvel was always my big deal. And it wasn't until I started getting older and then watching Justice League and then the CW stuff came out and then, then it really started opening my horizons to DC universe as a whole.
Do you remember when Arrow came out?
Yeah, I do. That was a great.
I remember talking my dad up.
But let's just pause and brainstorm. Let's just acknowledge the fact that we would never have had any of the Arrowverse stuff that we got without Smallville. Just saying, Smallville.
Oh man, Smallville. What a brilliant show. Do you know what the first episode of Smallville was I ever watched?
What?
I was in a dentist's office. Smallville was playing on a TV in the top corner, and it was the episode where his father has a heart attack and dies. That was my introduction, and from that day, like, just a little bit of, like, Clark Kent I saw from that show, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I
They
need more of
really...
this in my life.
Sorry, excuse me. They really did do a good job in telling the story. I mean, it lasted 10 years. I remember watching it every week with my family, my mom and dad, and like it was just like it was Smallville night. Like, cause remember, see, I'm 37, so back then there was no social media, there was no streaming service, there was like literally we had to wait a week and then watch it, and then if we missed it, you missed it. And then we had to, and if we had TiVo back then, so we could record shit. So, but if someone messed with the TiVo or it was full and you couldn't get it, you just missed it. You just missed the show. You missed the episode. You had no way. You had no way of knowing what happened.
When Smallville was coming out, we were poor as hell. We didn't even have cable. So how I watched Smallville is we rented the DVDs and watched it on my PlayStation 2.
So you were watching the Smallville shows well after the seasons were over. That's crazy,
brother. I only watch stuff late. Like recently, I try to keep up with stuff coming out, but my whole life has been catch up. Right? I think we talked about this. How I watched the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon before, like even Avengers.
Yeah, and I remember you told me that.
With Smallville, the first time I watched it was well after the fact. One of my friends had the entire series on box sets, right? Mm-hmm. And I like it. We used to rent the DVDs when I was a kid and watch some of it, but my dad thought it was too violent, so I couldn't watch a lot of it.
Smallville?
And then when I was in high school, I borrowed the box sets from a friend of mine and watched them that way.
Well, your dad said Smallville was too violent?
Yeah, there was like a lot of stuff in there. Like my parents were, they were pretty. I lived a pretty sheltered life until I was basically like 14, 15 years old.
Gotcha.
Kind of like relaxed the leash a little bit. Especially, I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. No internet, no cell phone signal. There was like absolutely nothing for miles and miles. So I didn't even have like a neighbor growing up. Like, I think that's such an interesting concept. It's always been an interesting concept to me. The idea that people live in a house next to your house. That's insane to me to think about. Because that's not something I ever had.
Really? That's crazy. I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah, like, if I wanted to visit my neighbors, I had to get in a car.
That's funny.
We drove an hour into school every single day and an hour back home afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrible time.
And eventually we got, it's called DSTV in South Africa. And with DSTV, like, my dad started making money. And we finally had the stuff that I never had growing up. So we had like a Vodacom router that we put on the roof of the house. And then sometimes we'd have Edge inside the house, and it was a crazy time. I remember when StarCraft 2 came out, my dad got it for us on like the box, and I was so ready to play that game.
StarCraft is a good franchise too. That is a great game. I remember playing StarCraft way back when.
And I remember we waited 2 weeks for an update to download that was 3 gigabytes.
Wow, that's insane.
So
Man,
I
you need to move back into civilization.
For granted.
You need to stop being out in the middle of the mountains.
And like franchises and movies for granted, because it's like it was such a rarity. Like sometimes we'd make a day out of it and we'd like drive to actually go watch a movie. And then we'd be like in town and there would be so much other people around, and it was incredible.
Yeah,
and then
crazy.
When I got into university and stuff and I lived in the city, I watched like movies every week. I spent so much time on the internet. I spent so much time on YouTube because it was just like suddenly I had all of this stuff that I was like not bombarded with, but that I finally had access to. The first time I watched Justice League, Superman the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, and that cartoon was when I was 21 years old.
Whoa! So you were able to like just binge watch all of it in one sitting.
I cried with the episode where Solomon Grundy dies.
Yo, for real,
grown-ass
hey man, look, and that's something that Speaking of that, I'm glad you were talking about like this in general, like. The world today, America today, censorship today is so bum. Because when I was a kid watching these things, I remember watching a cartoon and having emotional reactions and learning life lessons and stuff. Now this censorship, you're not seeing stuff like that no more. Like that Solomon Grundy episode, bruh. Yes, I was
Owl
there.
House on Disney.
No.
I think that's the other thing. Like, that show was so good, Disney canceled it. Like, they just can't stand something having, like, stakes and actual consequences. They just want a cartoon that can live in perpetuity and just continue existing episode after episode, and just nothing ever happens that even messes with the status quo.
Nice.
But when a show actually has characters die and there's consequences and the world changes, Disney can't stand that shit.
No, 100%. It's like, yeah. Bro, and that's why I like things like... And I think that's why I liked Young Justice so much, because when it was on Cartoon Network and it was first there, it was fine, it was good. But then when they came to streaming and then they were really diving into like the hard topics, then it really got really good. You know what I mean? It started really being like, okay. But even too, if we're talking about Justice League, you want to talk about episodes that make you cry, bro. The epilogue for I think it was like season 2 of the Justice League, where we find out that Bruce Wayne is actually Terry McGinnis' actual bio dad. You know what I mean? Where it's like that scene where Ace, where he goes in and they were like, you gotta kill her. But it's like, no, she's about to die. So he just sat there and held her hand. Like, what? He was like, you know, that is a freaking, you don't get that anymore. And I was a kid watching that and I'm like, this is legit. This is legit.
And then, like, for me, what's wild is it's so interesting to think about how we are shaped by what we watch growing up. Because for you, that was the Justice League growing up. For me, it was Aquaman, like, voiced by Jake the dog. And he's just having the time of his life in these wacky adventures. And there was an episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold that will forever sit with me, where Plastic Man defeats an alien empire by singing Yankee Doodle.
Yeah, Batman Brave and the Bold was a crazy show. That was the start of like the cartoons getting away from like the seriousness and the like. Yeah, that was.
In my opinion, Batman the Brave and the Bold is peak.
It's
there
good.
will never be another show that like embraces the camp and the goofiness of superhero media with such an earnest appreciation and respect. They don't shy away from the Silver Age goofy antics. They lean into it and give you characters you care about.
Right.
That was my Green Arrow. That was my Red Tornado. That was my Batman. You know? I didn't care for Michael Keaton. I didn't care for Christian Bale.
Wait a minute.
Hold
up. You better take those words back.
As a kid.
Blasphemous.
As a kid.
That's blasphemy. Don't ever say those words
I
again.
mean, I still don't think Michael Keaton is a very good Batman.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end of episode 3. We will go ahead and... No, I'm playing. How dare you?
I think the Batman movies are absolute incredible works of art, but just like reconciling that portrayal of that character as being Batman is... It doesn't fit with what I imagine Batman to be like in my head. I imagine Kevin Conroy. I imagine Batman the Brave and the Bold voice actor.
Batman, we have the Batman we have today because of A, Frank Miller's Batman Returns, and B, because of the 89 Batman. Legitimately, everything that
100%.
came after that, like the Batman animated series, was
directly
inspired
because of
exactly
89.
The theme song, everything. I mean, like we got a version of
designs, the way Gotham looks,
bro.
The vibe of it.
Like honestly though, I remember being, because remember when it came to the Batman franchise as a whole, before the 89 Batman came out, before Keaton took the role and did all stuff, all we had was like the camp and the thing we had, like the Adam West and all that. Like we had it, superheroes were more like, you know, but like it's just, we did have Frank Miller's, you know, the Dark Knight Returns, or that was great. But even before that, literally it was bing bang boom pows. Like this Batman movie changed just in general, in my opinion, like the seriousness of, like, in my opinion. But again, that was my Batman.
I think it's
because I remember that coming out.
Product of the time.
It really was. It really was a product of the time, because the darkness of it all.
What I mean with that is, you have Jerry Conway, right? And that was kind of the revitalization of Batman as a concept, right? That's where you got stuff like, I think he even invented Jason Todd, and that led into like DC's Crisis, and that really, like, if you think about the guy who reinvented Batman, obviously it's about Denny O'Neil, right? He's the guy who made Batman serious again. He's the guy. This was in like I think it was the late 60s.
He did the
late 60s or early 70s.
When did he? What was his run? What did he do again?
So Danny O'Neil's Batman run starts with like he did the stuff with Ra's al Ghul, and he did the stuff with like,
yes. Okay.
I remember like he was also doing stuff with Bane. So that era, Danny O'Neil took Batman seriously. He took it from because this was right on the end of Adam West, right? Adam West Batman changed the public's perception
he did
of what
Batman and Robin, and he did that. Like he really, he started, he definitely saved Batman, and he started Batman down the path of. I remember that.
I mean, I think Frank Miller literally said that. Denny O'Neil was the reason he wanted to write Batman.
Exactly, because Denny O'Neil, he started, I think when did he start writing for Batman? I think the 60s he did, because he was in Marvel Comics first, then he went over to DC Comics.
Was he?
I believe so. I'm looking it up right now. He was in DC Comics. Either he went from Marvel to DC or DC to Marvel. But either way it goes, yes, he died in 2020. Oh man, he lived a while. Okay. But yeah, no, I do remember that he is definitely a good example of where
O'Neil
Batman
was the guy who made Ra's al Ghul.
Right.
Like, he invented the League of Assassins.
He actually started, and that's what I think he's the one credited for saving Batman as a franchise. Yeah, the same way that I can't remember who it was.
Nightfall.
Who did the did he do Nightfall? I think not only did he just reinvent Batman, but he just reinvented like just DC comics in general. The same way when the original Death of Superman series ran. Because that was one of those things where...
Nightfall was way later. Nightfall was like in the 80s, right? No. It was in the 90s because it was Azrael. It was in the 90s. So that's not Denny O'Neil. He wasn't working on the book by that point.
So he worked... He was a writer and editor for Marvel and DC from 1960 to 1990.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He did Green Arrow. He did Green Lantern, Green Arrow series, and the Batman.
That I do know.
With Neil, and he did it with Neil Adams. Because Neil Adams, he's the one that started drawing and making Batman like having more like that was the Jason Todd, that was the Ra's al Ghul era. They started making it real, and then that led to Frank Miller, which Frank Miller then led to the '89 Batman movie, which then led to what we have now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's no better example of franchises than there is with Batman. If you think about how Batman has evolved from conception where he was using a gun, where nowadays if you see Batman with a gun, it's kind of like a jump scare. You don't see that coming.
Whoa, why is he doing that? Yeah,
it's like a little bro, you are not him, put it down. It just I think the thing with Batman is there's so many ways you can interpret that character that we've seen throughout history, where but it's gotten to a point where we basically have a idea of what Batman should be. It's kind of like when you think about Greek myth. It's like you have an idea of how Zeus should be portrayed. You have an idea about how Poseidon is gonna like react to certain situations. Batman has entered the modern mythos of like our cultural. It's like a cultural cornerstone of what we can expect from fiction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like people will argue about it, and people will say like Superman should be done this way, Spider-Man should be done this way, and who even knows what people want out of Green Lantern? But Batman is like, okay, we know what Batman should look like. We know what Batman should be. We've seen it done in so many different ways that we know what works and what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to his personality, when it comes to his methods, when it comes to his like his morals. Speaking of, who do you think is your favorite like on-screen portrayal of Batman, and who's your favorite on-screen portrayal of Bruce Wayne?
Well, I've never thought. Well, I have thought about that way. I have done it, but so your on-screen portrayal, as in like accurate to comics.
No, just your favorite.
Well, okay, so if you're talking about just my favorite Batman live action so far has been Ben Affleck. Obviously,
And your favorite Bruce Wayne?
my favorite Bruce Wayne. Well, see, that's the thing. I've never had a favorite Bruce Wayne because that's the thing about that goes into the thing about DC Comics was like DC Comics never did a good job at making you care for the secret identities.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Marvel did. Like, so to me, I've never watched Batman and been like, oh, he's a great Bruce Wayne. No, it's like, I don't know. I never really did. I mean, I guess you could say.
Honestly, Ben Affleck is my favorite Bruce Wayne. And out of all of the Batman looks we've gotten, I love Ben Affleck's Batmobile. I love Ben Affleck's suit. I love everything about him except his Batman. Like, I just hate the way they did Batman in those movies. He's just so...
Well, the way they did him in Batman v Superman and then the way they did him in, like, actual Snyder Justice League was awesome.
He was definitely awesome.
I always here's why.
Watch.
So here's why I say that. In my opinion, that was a great depiction of like I've had a Batman image in my head for all of my life. Batman is always been he can hang with the best of them. In fact, there's been times multiple characters, superpowered characters, Superman, Doomsday, throughout the history of Batman, characters that would go toe to toe with Superman would be like, nah, I ain't messing with Batman. Like, Superman has gone on record, and I forgot what comic or what it was saying that, no, like, of everybody he doesn't, not that he fears or just he's worried about is Batman. Like, Batman is one of those things.
There's two examples I go to, and the one is like Deathstroke, who says that he's fought super powered opponents who don't hit as hard as Batman.
Right. So, like, when you think of Batman, you think of this, like, presence of, like, like, I could see Batman, like, Batman is, as far as I know, is one of the only non-superpowered people to outmaneuver Darkseid's Omega Beam. Like...
Yeah. I think he's the only one.
So, like, when you think of just, like, Batman as a whole, like, just his overall character, the pictures of Batman we've gotten in... throughout like the history of like live action Batmans, Keaton Batman, that's my Batman. I grew up with him. That's the one that I remember. That was my first live action Batman before I saw anything. Keaton Batman is peak. But then you have, you look at all the rest of them, they all fit for their things, but every single thing that each Batman had in common was each one of those Batmans couldn't hang with the big boys.
Yeah.
Like, you put any one of those Batmans, the Keaton Batman, the Kilmer and the Clooney and
Christian
even the
Bale.
Bale, you put any of those Batmans in a scenario of DC Universe, they would all die day one.
Yeah, they would feel kind of like they would feel more useless than Hawkeye in the Avengers.
Right. Well, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna. No, that's not true. Anyway, struck a nerve there. But
I mean, it's just like
the closest
way
ones I would
that
say is like
Batman has been portrayed.
Right. The way
The
Batman has
thing
been
is
portrayed is that's the way. So they wouldn't be. Now, you could argue that the Clooney version of Batman, I could see being in a DC universe. That was about the closest we got to, because the Clooney version of Batman and the Batman Forever version of Kilmer version, like, as crappy as those movies are, like, I to this day say that if Batman and Robin was an animated movie, it would have been a dope-ass movie.
I really like Batman Forever.
And Batman and Robin was very campy. It was very like, you know,
take on the Batman.
Yeah, it was like a more serious version of the Adam West Batman. But my point I'm making is all these Batmans, you know, especially the Christian Bale Batman, great franchise, great Batman. But yeah, if you put that Christian Bale Batman up against Superman or Darkseid or just metahumans in general, he would be dead day one. There's nothing he would be able to do.
It just wouldn't feel right because he's so realistic. He's limited by his realism.
And that's why the Ben Affleck live-action Batman, in my opinion, was the best live-action depiction, because that Batman, I could see him doing the things that I know Batman to do, the jumping in the air, crashing through the glass, and just straight pounding, like hitting a dude's face. Like, that was Batman. I watched that being like, oh yeah, no. Because when I saw that they cast Ben Affleck as Batman, at first I was like, but then I also remembered, I was like, well, no, let me stop, because I remember I said the same thing when they cast Heath Ledger as Joker, and then I was surprised. And then sure enough, when Ben Affleck when they showed that first picture of him sitting next to the Batmobile, I was like, ooh, and sure enough, we got the Batman that I've been waiting for. Just like how
the Batmobile in those movies is my favorite take on the Batmobile. I love that Batmobile
now, granted,
so much.
Every single one of these live action Batmans definitely kill people, which is not
except Pattinson.
100%. Even Pattinson's Batman, in my opinion, is a good Batman for that isolated story that they're telling with that. But like, again, that wouldn't be a Batman that I would see in the overall arcing DC universe.
I see Pattinson's Batman as like Batman in his early years. He's not on that level yet, but you can see the glimmers of it. His suit is already bulletproof. He's got the Venom injection. His Batmobile is already tricked out. He's starting out, but he can get there.
I don't know.
If Pattinson's Batman like continues on his journey, like, you know, it's kind of like watching Goku go from like the first tournament where he fights Tien, then going to like fighting Frieza in that arc. Like, you can see the journey.
But so you look at Batman, though. Batman was Batman from the jump, though.
I can see the journey.
No, Batman has always been Batman from the jump.
Not Batman from the jump.
Yeah,
like from day one, he gets beat up. He doesn't really get it. He doesn't really get he doesn't really get his arc. And then he's like sitting in his study, and he's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do what I'm doing. Like, I'm a massive fan of Frank Miller's Year One. I think it's one of the best Batman comics of all time,
really good, really good.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. And like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That Batman, when you read Year One, is not right off the bat, oh, this guy can tangle with universe-ending threats. He gets shot with a bullet.
I mean, in the general of like the physicality of Batman, the physical, what he can do. Like, because even in Year One, I mean, he was doing Batman shit in Year One, even though he didn't have the Batman suit yet. He was doing. Yeah, but all Pattinson really did was just walk around and he didn't really. I don't know. That's one of those things where, like, I feel like if you're to your argument, yeah, it was technically only Year Two for his Batman. So if they make another one and they show me that they can fight
universe so far,
yeah,
like Batman doesn't need to scale to Superman yet, because as far as we know, Superman isn't a thing there.
Right.
But if Superman was a thing, he would scale to Superman because he would be driven to. You know.
Right, and that's the big thing about Batman is a lot of what he does is because he comes up, he makes a plan, and he does it. He's a great tactician.
He wants to be the best.
I don't think it's that he wants to be the best.
Second place.
I don't think it's that. It's more or less that he just wants to be able to like have the upper hand in any situation, not necessarily to be the best, but to like be.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Like, having the contingency plan for the entirety of the entire Justice League in case any of them went rogue, because any of them going rogue, he understands the power that they have.
Yeah, exactly. And so in the Pattinson universe, he's kind of like he's ready for anything in that universe. That's what I mean. Like I can see the potential.
Well, you know what? I will accept that because there's not enough information yet to really form. Because with all the other Batmans, we do have multiple movies and storylines to pull from.
For
so
sure.
we have multiple.
For
so
sure.
we just have this one. So I can accept what you're saying about it because there's not really much to pull from to prove it otherwise. We would have to see more of it to kind of get that gist. However, I do believe based off of the movie we got, this is more of a Batman that's going to be more of a detective, more of a like not doing, apocalypse world ending type adventures. You know what I mean?
More
like
Batman
I see
ego than New 52.
I think this is going to be more of the threats that he's dealing with are going to be threats that like he could handle it with the prep. You know what I mean? I feel like it's going to be like another Nolan universe type Batman, where like it's going to be more
into like an Arkham universe.
Exactly.
When I
feel
look
like
at Pattinson's Batman, I feel like that can basically slot into an earlier point on the timeline for the Arkham universe.
Because to be real with you, even if you're looking at the Arkham franchise, the Arkham universe, like of the games, even that
it's
Batman, it's more grounded. Like that is more what I feel like the Pattinson Batman could be, as opposed. Because even in the Arkham Batmans would be not so much overall DC. You know what I mean? Because the way he
I
plays,
think that's why the Suicide Squad game feels so out of place. Because it's like, how did this universe suddenly turn into this?
Well, I don't think the Suicide one is part of the Arkham universe. I could be wrong.
It is.
It is for sure officially.
Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah.
But I mean, like,
unfortunately for everyone,
like that's actually been confirmed officially by like the people who made the game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's made by the same people. It's set in the same universe. They connect it to the Arkham universe. They literally have a recap of the Arkham games in the Suicide Squad game.
Okay.
There's like a whole. Yeah, unfortunately it is irrevocably tied to that universe. I kind of see it as a parallel universe, a universe that's exactly the same but shit.
Multiversal, yeah. This definitely turned into be more of a conversation about Batman than anything, but yeah, we were still talking about franchises. So it worked out. But anywho,
so based on what we've discussed now, who do you think my favorite version of Batman is in live action?
What you just said is Pattinson.
Yeah, it's Pattinson. Like when I watch Pattinson's Batman, I'm like, okay, for the first time when watching that movie, I was like, this is like I'm watching what I read in my favorite Batman comics.
You know what? I can see that.
Batman,
I can see that.
Yeah. It's like this is what I wanted from a Batman movie. This feels like Batman, you know?
You know what I want to see here to your point? So, yes, you're right. When it comes to that aspect of Batman, the Pattinson Batman, definitely the detective, that. So what I would like to see is that combined with the Ben Affleck version of Batman of the being able to go toe to toe with the Parademon Batman. Combining those two versions, that will give us comic Batman.
I'm really interested to see what James Gunn does with Batman because he's got that larger than life vision.
Saw something on what time? Oh, okay, yeah. We'll end with these final thoughts on this. But I saw something. So the new Batman, everyone's been like, oh, Jensen Ackles. And I'm like, yes, make Jensen Ackles Batman. He needs to be a Batman. I feel like he deserves to be Batman in some way, shape, or form, not just as a voice actor, but like IRL. However, that being said, I recently was watching an interview with Alan Richardson, and they asked him, who would you rather play? And he was like, I would love to play Batman. And the minute he said those words,
he was like, I want to shout it from the rooftops. I want to be Batman.
I in that moment was like, yes. Alan Rich as Batman, yes. No hose barred. Let's do it. I'm like, pull the trigger.
Have
Somebody
you seen the way
do
Greg
it.
Capullo draws Batman?
Like Alan, he's got the size, he's got the bulk. I mean, and just he's got the brute. Like if you've watched Reacher, like
Yeah.
bro, like he 100% could play Batman. Not only would he be, I think he'd be a good Batman, but he would be a good Batman and Bruce Wayne. I know I said they were,
100%.
Bruce Wayne's never really, but I could see him being a Bruce Wayne.
So one of my favorite Batman comics is a comic called Batman Zero Year. Have you read it?
Probably not, because I didn't even recognize the name when you said it.
Let me give you the plot synopsis. So what Batman Zero Year is the plot of the Batman movie if Batman failed to stop the Riddler's bombs from going off. And it was,
that's
more
one
extreme.
of the New 52 Batman storylines, right?
Yeah, it's like Batman's not his origin exactly, but it's very much his early years. It's kind of the year one version of Batman from the New 52.
That's
but that image,
that's Scott Snyder one, right?
yeah, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, and like the way Greg Capullo draws Batman is just like he's just drawing Alan Richardson.
Oh, 100%.
That's literally all it is.
100%. I'm looking
Just
at
like-
a picture of it right now. Like, yeah, no, he's definitely. That is. I could totally see him being. Yeah, I could see him as Batman. After watching Reacher, I could totally. Yeah, no, he's Batman. He could be Batman for sure.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Even like there's the way he draws it sometimes, like especially in the Court of Owls storyline, where Batman has like a little bit of scruff, a little bit of beard. Like that is so on point for Alan Richardson.
Yeah, no, for sure. I could totally see him playing that. He's got the jaw for it, yeah. Either way it goes, yeah, no, I definitely think that's a good. But we unfortunately have reached the end. It's a little bit longer than the last couple episodes, but I think it was a pretty good one. We have some good things to say, so I'm excited. I think we got a lot going on, and I honestly don't know what the topic for next week's going to be yet, because honestly there's a lot that has to go. But I do know one thing we are going to be doing. One of these episodes, we are going to be doing a whole review of the X-Men 97 cartoon, because I think there's only going to be 10 episodes. So what I'm doing is I'm waiting, and I'm going to watch all episodes in one sitting, and then we're going to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I'm so down for that. I love that series so much. I mean, they're doing Cyclops justice, and that's really all I can ask. Like, you're talking about a guy who got executed by Black Bolt and lived. You need to do that justice.
100%. So yeah, so we got a few. We're good. I think we're getting some traction rolling. I'm gonna work on doing some things with editing and stuff, and just kind of getting a little bit more. But otherwise, I'm excited. So you guys, if you're watching this right now, it's on YouTube. So yeah, but if you look in the description on YouTube, you'll see all the links and everything for everything else that I do, and we'll put the links from the trailers we watched today so that you can see them and give your opinions on them too if you want. But yeah, so thanks for joining us. Any final thoughts or anything you got?
So, I think the only thing I can say at this point is that the real weekly element was the friends we made along the way.
Are you gonna say that every time?
I'll think of a new one for next week.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. And tune in for next week, and we will see you then. Later.
With more opinions. Have a great one.